Assalamu alaikum. Today's mosque tour is in the Madina Masjid in Rochdale. This mosque, like many others across the UK, offer varied activities for the Muslim community. However, what sets this one apart is the recent partnership it's just made with iCare, an initiative that aims to help those who are less fortunate, whether they're in need of some vital food supplies or help with legal documents to aid their asylum applications. And I've arranged the meeting with Nabil to find out more. Brother Nabil, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you for inviting us here today. Really excited to get to know Madina Mosque a bit more, especially the food and food bank and food hub initiative. Inshallah, we'll get to know much more about that later on. So do take us on the tour.
Now we're walking into the main prayer hall that we use for the 5 daily prayers on Jummah.
Oh, mashallah, it's beautiful. It's really simple, but you know, it's everything that you need, isn't it? Alhamdulillah. The carpet, I'm guessing it's in the Qibla direction. It's always the most important thing in masajid, isn't it? And you've got the mimbar there as well. Yeah. That's quite modern looking, actually.
We went for a modern design for that, but everything else we went for simple. Simplicity is the best.
So I can see though, you have madrasa-like tables. It's the only time I've ever seen them is when they're in the madaris. So I'm assuming there's a madrasa that takes place here as well.
Yeah, madrasa Monday to Fridays for 2 hours. Girls upstairs, we have about 50 girls.
MashaAllah.
And about 40 boys.
So I can see children's worksheets up on the wall. Let's have a closer look. Oh, I love Allah. Keep calm and love Allah. I like that. MashaAllah. So tell us, what do we have here?
So we've got the shelf of the first floor and the base of the floor. So this is going to be 2 stories high. A floor consisting at the bottom for the youth and the top floor for the sisters.
Their limitation in space hasn't hindered their enthusiasm for providing a service for those in need. Volunteers have gathered to set up Madina Mosque's first food bank, and as you can see, visitors are rushing in. So I'm now with Brother Naseem Ashraf, who is part of iCare, and you've been given the responsibility to set up the food banks across the UK, which is, mashallah, a massive, beautiful responsibility. Tell us a little bit more about this initiative.
The responsibility is to literally set up food banks, but not just food banks, but food aid hubs throughout the UK in all of our masajids. We have around 40 centres up and down the country. And inshallah ta'ala, I want to try and approach all the masjids and try to imitate what we do. There are 3 elements to the actual food bank. It's not just a food bank, it's a food aid hub, which really sort of assesses the people's needs and requirements that live locally amongst us. The responsibility obviously has come from that. The modelling of that has been quite successful. That's been running for over 12 months, or nearly 12 months rather. And we have around 150 to 200 people sometimes every week. Anywhere between 70 to 150 people is normal now on a weekly basis. In the masjids, we're hoping that we can get it to a weekly status. At the moment it is monthly, but inshallah ta'ala, over the course of the year we want to try and make that a weekly thing as well, because it is needed.
So you have been doing this for a year and older, and tell us some of the stories that you've come across with the people that you've been helping.
One particular story which was really interesting, and it sort of saddened me really to say that, you know, the human race has rotted to this degree. There's a gentleman, he's about 58 years old now. Professionally he was a reupholsterer of sofas and furniture. He's been doing that for 35, 36 years of his life, always paid his taxes, had a house, had a mortgage, and then he got chronic arthritis in his fingers. He had doctor's letters, all the evidence to substantiate his claim. However, the benefits were sanctioned. He was made homeless, and he ended up at our food bank. And over the course of time, we found him a flat, we got him housed, we paid a bit of deposit for him, got him some furniture, and alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, now he's got a flat and his benefits have been reinstated.
Alhamdulillah. That seems quite a personal story. Like, I would have assumed that you would have seen people here, given them what they needed on the day, and then, you know, if they were to come back, that's great. But, you know, you've stuck with somebody for quite a long time.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, the idea of this food bank is not to just pass food to people. This is not a food bank, really. We shouldn't call it that. I shouldn't call it that. It's a food aid hub. This is where it begins, not where it ends.
Why did you decide, or the initiative decide, that this type of work, this hub that you're talking about, should be, the venue of it should be a mosque? It should be run from a masjid. You know, there are many halls, there are many spaces. Why a mosque?
To be honest with you, the viewers out there need to know that things like this have always been done in masjids, historically. The last few hundred years, perhaps, we've lost the plot, if I can use that terminology. But a masjid has never been a place of just for salah. I don't know where Muslims have come across this concept or this perception that a masjid is a place where we just do sujood and we just do salah. Salah can be performed anywhere. And if you look at the word, the literal meaning of the word, or the definition of the word masjid, it's a place where we do sujood. And that place could be your front living room. It doesn't have to be a grand building. Historically, if you want to take a definition of what a masjid should be, we should always take the definition of the masjid of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He's the one who set the masjid up. Now, if you look at the Masjid Nabawi, everything was done from there. Whether it was political agendas, whether it was political decisions, whether it was wars, battles were planned from there, whether it was helping the community, absolutely everything was done from that masjid. And that's what we need to imitate. And inshallah ta'ala, that's the reason we chose the masjid, because if this kind of initiative, a community initiative needs to be initiated from somewhere, it must be done from a masjid, in my opinion.
SubhanAllah, it's very refreshing and beautiful to hear you say those words, and I truly hope that those at home watching are going to take inspiration from that, and perhaps get in contact with you or set up something like that for their own community. And what's beautiful is that this isn't just open to Muslims, is it? No. It's open to anybody that's in need, which is exactly what or how Muslims should behave. I've had an amazing time here at the Madina Masjid in Rochdale. The people here are so eager to serve their community. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses this masjid and the committee in the Food Hub initiative, and that it inshallah continues to prosper and grow and become even stronger.